back. Nice to see everybody again. Glad to have you with us. Let's just see who's joined us so far. Hi, Megan. Hi, Karabo. Hi, Nizole. So as promised from last time, we said that we needed a lot more practice with factorizing. So that's what I've gone ahead and done. I've made you a lesson on factorizing. So yeah, in the do now, you can just get started with that and see if you can fill in either the missing number or the missing sign. It sort of relates back to what we were talking about last week about trinomials. So yeah, let's just wait for everybody to arrive and then we can get underway. Hope everybody's well. And yeah, nice to see you again. Okay, welcome back, grade 10s. Hi, Cece. Hi, Christian. I'm not sure if that's a new name. I don't remember seeing you before. Anyway, welcome to Watobe if you are new. With each lesson, we have a do now that's on the screen just while we wait for everybody to arrive. And then the idea is that this is just something that we can work on in the meantime. We'll get going now. Hi, David. Thanks, Cece. That's lovely. Hope everybody is well. So nice to have you all with us again. Hi, Ayanda. Hi, Ntando. Hi, Ayanda. Please get started on the do. On the do now. Hi, Harry. Hi, Ntando. Hi, Lesejo. Okay, so while we're waiting for everybody to arrive, sorry if I sound like a stuck record, we're going to either fill in the missing number or the missing signs. This is what we were talking about last week when it comes to factorizing trinomials. So I just wanted to see. Oh, it's you, Namusa. Okay, hello, Namusa. Oh, there we go. You changed your name. Thanks, Namusa. It's easier to see what your name is now. Thank you. Okay, so grade 10s, I'm going to jump right in now. I just want to know before we get started, who is still going to write paper 1?
I'm still going to write paper 1, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ayanda. Megan says so too.
Me too.
Okay. Next week, Friday, thank you. Okay, Lesejo. Okay, and then obviously paper 2 is after paper 1, isn't it? For all of you. This Friday. Okay, Nizole. All right. I had originally, you too, Christian. Okay. I had originally planned sort of various topics for us to cover during these exam prep sessions. And then it sort of became obvious to me last week that factorizing, especially factorizing trinomials, was or is a problem. But I mean, obviously I want to, suit your needs, whatever you guys need, that's what I want to be able to do. Are you happy to do a lesson on factorizing? Is this something that you feel, I mean, it's very important. I mean, being able to factorize is one of the most important skill you need in maths. But I mean, if you would prefer me to sort of look at some other topics, I mean, I've already prepared a lesson on probability or whatever, but to be honest with you, like if you can't factorize, it really is the most important thing to get right first. So is that okay with everybody if we do that, we go on with factorizing? And I mean, if stuff is too easy, then you can say to me, ma'am, it's too easy, let's carry on with something a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I've got no problem with that. I've got loads of material for us to work on. Okay. All right, so I'll take my cue from you. If you tell me it's too easy and you need harder work, you let me know. All right, so as far as filling in the missing number or sign was concerned, Megan, you don't have to unmute your mic. You can pop it into the chat. What did you put in the first bracket over here, Megan? So Z minus what? What did you have in brackets? You feeling shy, Megan? You are on. Oh, sorry, I'm just in a rush here. Okay, so lovely answer. Megan says Z minus 6Z plus 3. Okay, now, do we agree with Megan or not? Who agrees with Megan? Who thinks that's the right answer? You agree with her, Namusa. Okay. Mine is mixed. Yes. Now, Nazole, I agree with you. Megan, you chose the correct numbers, which was brilliant. Okay, that's the first step. You knew that it was 6 and 3. But unfortunately, it matters which one is minus and it matters which one is plus. Indeed, Harry. Megan, can you see, and Namusa as well, can you see your middle term is a positive number? So if your middle term is a positive number, the bigger of the two numbers is the one that has to be the positive. Okay, so in this case over here, it should have been Z minus 3, Z plus 6. Okay, so the 6 had to be plus and the 3 had to be the minus. Is that okay? Is that making sense to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Okay, cool, Megan. All right, so Ayanda, why don't you do the next one for us? What should I write? You can pop it into the chat. What should we put in the brackets, Ayanda? Welcome, Nolwazi. Nice to have you with us. So I've just asked Ayanda to answer the second question for us. So Ayanda, you're going to tell us what signs should go inside the brackets. Okay, so Ayanda says +3. Okay, and then -1. Okay, Ayanda, that's fine. Was we all had power problems this afternoon. I was also waiting until well after 4 o'clock for mine to come back on. So no stress. Okay, so who agrees with Ayanda? Yeah, even me, Megan. Yeah, me too, Harry. Me too. Okay, so Ayanda is correct because the factors are 3 and 1, because the middle term is positive. The bigger of the two numbers is the one that has to be the positive one. Excellent. Good job. Okay, Nzole, the last one belongs to you. So b squared minus 11b minus 12. What should we put inside brackets, Nzole? +12, Nzole says, and -1. Okay, I quite agree with you, Nzole. No, actually, I don't. No. Yes, Namusa, you're right. Nzole is not correct. Hey, it should be the other way around. Yes. -12 +1. Yes, Nolwazi, quite right. Okay, Nzole, do you know why though? Do you know why it has to be +1 and why it has to be -12? Okay, because your middle term, Nzole, is negative. Okay, so the bigger of the two numbers is the one that has to be. You disagree, Harry?
Ma'am, can I
Yes,
ask?
Ayanda, of course.
Does it matter if 12 is positive or not? Because I mean,
It does,
-1.
unfortunately, Ayanda.
Can I ask?
Yeah, of course, that's why
minus
you're here.
-1 and +12. It also adds up to 12 and 11 being negative. So
Okay, I'm going to show you something. Ayanda, it's a wonderful question, and I'm so glad that you asked it. All right, so you were saying to me now that if we had b -1 and b + 12, we would get exactly the same answer. So, okay, Christian, I realized your name. I hadn't seen your name here before, but it's fine. Welcome to the lessons, and hopefully it'll make sense to you with what's going on. We're talking about factorizing. Okay, so Ayanda, when we go this way, we are factorizing. When we go back the other way, then we are simplifying. So if I simplify, okay, if I work backwards here and I create an expression, I'd end up with b times b is b squared. So that's the f from FOIL. B times 12 would be 12b. -1 times b would be -1b. And -1 times +12 would be -12. Then I'm going to collect together my like terms, which are the two middle terms. So I'm sitting at +12 on the number line, Ayanda. I'm going to move one place to the left, and that means that I'm going to end up at 11. Now, I know it's very, very similar, but are these two expressions exactly the same, Ayanda? Compare the one that I gave you. With that. Can you see here, the middle term was the negative. If we do it your way, then our middle term ends up being a positive, which means that that is wrong, unfortunately. Okay, so yes, it matters. The order of the brackets is unimportant. If you write b minus 12 first and b plus 1 second, that doesn't matter. The order of the brackets is unimportant. But what is plus and which number is minus inside the brackets, that matters. Okay, so hang on a second. Nalwazi says, my teacher said that the sign at the end tells us whether the signs after factorization will be the same or not. And the one in the middle tells us which one will have a minus or a plus sign in the bracket. Absolutely, Nalwazi. You see, the thing is that if the last term is negative, like all of these are, minus 18, minus 3, minus 12, then every single bracket, one will be plus, one will be minus. So here, minus, plus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Because the only way that you can get that negative at the end is by multiplying a positive and a negative together. So if there's a negative at the end here, one bracket must be plus, the other bracket must be minus. But it matters which one. Okay, so when you choose your two factors, okay, so like in the case of 18, the two factors we chose were 6 and 3. Because this was a positive, the bigger number is the positive in this case. Over here in this question, because the middle term was negative, the bigger of the two numbers is the one that takes the negative sign. That's what you have to remember. Does that make sense to everybody? How do you feel about that? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Want to talk about it a bit more? I can repeat, that's not a problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, Demusa, is I was going to talk about all the different types of factorizing, blah, 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 blah. But I tell you what I'm going to do, all right? I'm going to shoot down here. We can come back to these. Karaba, that's fine, Karaba. I like honesty. I'm glad that you feel happy enough to tell me where you sit. Okay, so if you recall last time, okay, there were 4 different types. Do you remember that? There were 4 different types of trinomials. So your trinomial can be can be like this. Okay, so either, and I'm just going to use, so either it can be so x squared plus, let's like the first one, 10x plus 16. Okay, this was type number 1. Indeed, Nizole, it is. And learning how to factorize trinomials is the single most important thing that you can learn how to do in high school maths. Okay, it's critical. So it really doesn't matter if we spend the whole lesson talking about trinomials, because they really, really, really are important. Okay, so this was type number 1. The middle term is positive, the last term is positive. So when these types of trinomials factorize, there is a plus inside both brackets. Okay? X goes here, X goes there, that bit we know. Now you've got to decide on the factors. So now you're thinking about 2 numbers. When you times them, you get 16. And when you add them together, you're going to get 10. Which 2 numbers could we be talking about?
2 and 8.
2 and 8, absolutely. Now, does it matter that I write 2 here and 8 there? Cool, Christian?
No.
No. And what happens if I wrote my answer like this? Am I still right?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the order of the brackets is not important, okay? But what was important is that I had to
Yes,
use
ma'am.
2 and 8, and they both had to be plus, okay? Let's have a look at the next one now, number 1.2, okay? How is 1.2 different to 1.1? Okay, so Sihle says x minus 2, x minus 6. Who agrees with Sihle? There's a negative and a positive. Okay, so your middle term is negative, your last term is positive. So you are quite right, Sihle. Okay,
This
x
means
squared
log.
minus
This means
8x
log.
plus 12, when the middle term is negative and the third term is positive, both brackets have to have a minus in them. Okay, so that was very well done. Good. Let's have a look at what the next one looks like. Tell you what, let's do 1.5. We can always come back to 1.3 or 1.4. Let's do 1.5. Who's going to do 1.5 first? Middle term is negative. Last term is negative. Okay, so go for it. Sihle, what do you think we should write? Okay, so last term is negative, middle term is negative. So Sihle says x plus 2, x minus 15. Okay, Sihle, that's perfect. Well done. Okay, so you've chosen your two factors, 2 and 15. So 2 times 15 gets you 30. And we can also make 13 by saying minus 15 plus 2. Okay, so 100% correct on that one. Let's go and have a look at another one. I'm going to ask Harry. You've been very quiet this evening. What about number 1.4, Harry? What should we do there for number 1.4? That's all yours, Harry, 1.4. What should we get for 1.4?
I'm still calculating it, ma'am.
That's fine, no problem.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Yes,
why is still calculating? Can I ask?
of
Regards
course.
question 1.5.
Yes, I under ask away.
Does 10 and 3 also works because 10 plus 3 can also give you 13 and 10 times 3 can also give you 30.
That's right, it can, can't it? Let's test what you were thinking. All right, so to get the answer the way you were thinking about it, it would have to be minus 3 and then x, is it plus or minus 10? What would you put?
Plus.
You put a plus 10.
I remember.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you asking. I love questions. Now,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Now, let's just see if what you've suggested, whether it can work. All right.
But ma'am, thing is I didn't
Yes.
calculate it. I was just thinking it just now that 10 and 3 also work, but I don't know.
They do. No, you're quite right. They do, but they don't. Okay, so this is where you've got to be so careful, because you're quite right. 10 times 3 is 30, and you can also make 13 from 10 and 3, just like 2 times 15 is 30, and you can make 13 from 2 and 15. The problem is that the reason why it doesn't work in this case over here, all right, is because this term is negative and that term is negative. So in order to get the negative term at the end, one bracket has to be plus and the other bracket has to be minus. Now, let's say you decided to leave your brackets as they are right now. Okay, when you did FOIL, so when you work back the other way, you wouldn't end up with a question. What you'd end up with is x squared plus 10x minus 3x minus 30. So your middle term would be wrong because you'd end up with plus 7 in the middle. Okay, instead of minus 13. That's why the 3 and the 10 doesn't work. The other thing that you could check, to be honest with you, is you could swap the signs around and it still wouldn't work. Okay, so look at this. Imagine if we had x plus 3 and then we had x minus 10. Right now, again, if we work backwards and simplify, Christian, I'm going to come to your question now. It would still be wrong, unfortunately. Okay, Ayanda, because we'd end up with x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 30, which means that we would end up with a final answer in this case of x squared minus 7x minus 30. Okay, so can you see, Ayanda, that's what makes this so difficult. You know, is that, you know, you think 10 and 30, you think 10 and 3, and you think, yes, that must be right. But in actual fact, it isn't. Okay, and that's why it's so important for you to understand what happens, not just with the numbers, but with the signs of those numbers. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, it's a pleasure. Okay, so as I just explained to Ayanda, unfortunately, both of these, whilst initially they may seem to be correct and to work, when we test it out, it doesn't actually. All right, so Christian's asked a question. He has said, okay, 1.4, thanks, Celia. We'll have a look at your answer now. Christian said, does it matter? Yes, Christian, it matters. Okay, it matters on whether you said minus 2 plus 15 or minus 15 plus 2. Yes, it does matter. Okay, so now if you said x plus 15, x minus 2, again, if we do what I was doing with Ayanda, okay, so if we take your x minus 2 and we say x plus 15, you'll get a different answer to the question that's been given to you. You'd end up with x squared plus 15x minus 2x minus 30. Again, it's your middle term that would be wrong, just like Ayanda's middle terms. 15x minus 2x is going to give you positive 13x minus 30. Okay, and that's not what the question was. The question wasn't about, sorry, the question wasn't positive middle term and negative last term. It was the other way around. So yes, grade 10s, it matters. Okay, the order of the brackets does not matter, but it matters which number you make a plus and which one you make a minus. Okay, so in this case, Harry, what you've said, where it has to be x minus 15, x plus 2, that is indeed correct. Okay, Christian. All right, that's unfortunately what makes this a little bit more tricky than when we just get started straight away. Okay, but that's why we're here. We're here to discuss these things, and you're here. It isn't. Okay, see there. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, now let's go and have a look at another one. And that's too easy for you guys. All right, here. Let's have a look at 1.7. Who's been very quiet that I can call on? Karabo. Would you like to try number 1.7, Karabo? Tell us what you think we should write. Nizole, ma'am, 1.4 did the same, but I still got negative 30. Do you mean
Ma'am, and it's x minus 2, not x plus 2.
hold on. Did I write the question down wrong? Oh, yes. Sorry, I've just seen I made him. Sorry, my apologies. I made a mistake with question 1.4. Sorry, that doesn't help you guys. Okay, sorry, I overlooked that. I beg your pardon. The middle term is negative, the last term is positive. So that means that both brackets have to be minus. So quite right. I don't know why I was still hung up on the 15 and the 3 from the previous question, but that is not going to work at all. Okay, so here, let me just rub that out. Thank you very much for pointing that out, whoever it was. And I've got no problem. If I make mistakes, please, you must let me know. Okay, so this should have been x minus 10, x minus 3. Okay, and then it would have been correct. Okay, everybody happy with that? So negative middle term, positive last term, both brackets have to be minus. Okay. All right, Karabo, you say you don't understand? Yes, you were right, Sihle. Sorry, I was still thinking about the previous question, I think. I don't know. Otherwise, I wasn't paying much attention to what I was doing. So my apologies, I got that one wrong. Okay, now back to number 1.7. All right, so Sihle says, okay, who agrees with Sihle? Sihle has given an answer. -7 plus 3, says Ayanda. Good job. Well done. Yes, says Harry. Nice. I agree. So that one, you've done very well. Okay, so in 1.7, Karabo, this is for you. Okay, so x squared minus 4x minus 21. Okay, so Harry and Ayanda and Sihle have all thought about their times tables. Two numbers, when they times them, they get 21, and somehow they can take them away and they get something close to the middle term. But it's not that simple. The 7 times 3 is, yes, but this is a -4. This is a -4 here. It's not actually a +4. So 7 minus 3 is not going to get us -4. It would have to be -7 plus 3. Okay, if we multiplied -7 with +3, then we would end up with -21. Okay, so we've got to be careful, not just with our numbers, but with the signs as well. Okay, so now into our brackets. Yes, Christian, sorry, it's this, it's what I've just written here now. Yeah, the -15 plus 2 didn't work in that case because it was +30 at the end, and a positive times a negative is not gonna give you a positive. It would give you a negative. So yes, Christian, this is the right answer here, the x minus 10, x minus 3. If you want me to explain again, I'm more than happy to do so. Do you want me to explain again, Christian? Okay, all right. No, I'm sorry, that was me. I got that one wrong. Okay, all right. Okay, Nzole says for 1.8, you've got x minus 5, x minus 10. Sihle says the same thing. Good. All right, nice job, well done. Okay, so because, yes, Ayanda, you're quite right. The middle term is negative, the last term is positive. Good, Lizzie. Nice. Okay, so both brackets had to be minus. So that's going well. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, I don't want us to keep practicing the ones that I know that you can do. Do you want to have a look at the sort of slightly more complex trinomials? Now, when I say complex trinomials, what all of these ones have in common with one another, and certainly just these ones that I've chosen in the beginning, I've got plenty more, is that in front of the x squared, it's not a 1 anymore. It's now a 2 or a 3 or a 4, or potentially it could be anything really. Are these the ones where we're sort of the most stuck? Am I right about that? Is this really where we want to concentrate our efforts? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Please, ma'am.
Please, okay. All right, and then we can talk about some more of the, even if there's even more difficult ones than this. Okay, Harry. Okay. Seatley. This is easy for you, isn't it? Isn't it funny how we've all got just different things that we are good at? That's wonderful. Okay, so for those of you that struggle with ones like this is basically how it works. It's the same idea with the signs. So in other words, if you've got a negative middle term and a positive last term, both brackets still have to have a negative in them. But the difference is now is that you've got this 2 in front of the x squared. So this is where we do that cross multiplying method. Okay, so the only way that we can make 2, because 2 is a prime number, is by multiplying 2 and 1 with one another. The only way that we can make 3, because 3 is also a prime number, is by multiplying 3 and 1 with one another. Now, let's say I decide I'm going to put the 3 here and I'm going to put the 1 there. All right. I'm going to cross multiply. This helps me get the middle term. So I always do that when I cross multiply. I go 1x times 3. That leaves me with 3x. And 2x times 1, that leaves me with 2x. Then I have to go back and fetch my middle term together with the sign. It's minus 7x. Now, can I make minus 7x from 3x and 2x? No, I can't. So what I've done is I've put the 3 and the 1 in the wrong order. So that means I now have to say, okay, well, what I did the first time didn't work. So now I'm going to have to try something else. Okay, and that's how you have to approach these. There's not many times in maths where we do actually want you to do a trial and error, but this is one of those few situations where the trial and error method is the only thing that works. So now, and you'll see the more you practice it, the better you'll become. So now we're going to swap them around. We're going to put the 3 at the 1 and we're going to put the 3 at the bottom and the 1 at the top. Now when we cross multiply, we end up with 1x. 2x times 3, now we end up with 6x. Go back, fetch our middle term, it was minus 7x. So to get to minus 7 on the number line, we'll have to start at -1 and we'll have to take away 6. Okay, and then that fits in with what my last sign should be, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And then what happens, grade 10s, is that those signs, these signs here, then go straight across into the bracket. That sign there goes straight across in here. Okay, and then these are your factors. Okay, so here we've got 2x minus 1. And here we've got x minus 3. So, Sihle, I see you saying no. What are you saying no to? So your answer that you suggested was correct. What are you saying no to, Sihle? You were answering my question. Oh, shame. Okay. All right. Sorry, Sihle. Well done. All right. So now let's have a look at the next one. Okay. Now, maybe what I must do is let me move these down, and then people, so I don't want you to feel intimidated by this. Okay, I'm moving them out the way so that the people who feel really confident can whiz off and they can try and do as many as they can. Okay, so like Sihle, Harry, I think these are easy for you. Nzole, I'm not sure where you're at, but you sort of seem to be fine with this. So you carry on, okay? Do up to number 11, and then we'll talk about all of the answers. Everybody else, let's have a look at number 2. Okay, so Karaba, I'm not picking on you, but I know you were saying that you were finding this difficult. So let's have a look at number 2, Karaba. Everybody else, if you can manage, carry on. All right, so Karabo, this is our question. Okay, we've got 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. Okay, so middle term is negative, last term is negative. So what are the signs inside the brackets, Karabo? You can pop it into the chat. Okay, so Nzole, when you are working with ones like these, they're a little bit easier because 2 is a prime number and 3 is a prime number. So it's when they start giving you things with 4s and 6s and 8s and stuff like that, that's when it really starts to become difficult. Maybe Nzoli, I don't know if you have this to hand, but if you've got any questions at home that you struggle to find the factors of and you want us to quickly do it, then by all means pop it into the chat and let's have a look. Okay, so Karabo, quite right. Minus and a minus. No, sorry, Karabo, I'm talking nonsense. Namusa, a minus and a plus. Yes. Okay, so the reason why Namusa is right, Karabo, okay, is because in order to get this negative at the end, you can only get a negative number when you multiply a negative and a positive together. All right, or a positive and a negative. Okay, so Namusa's, we certainly can do if that's what you want to do. That's fine. That's not a problem. Are you talking about linear number patterns? Again, Megan, if you've got questions and you want to send them through to me, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm just going to quickly put here. This is my Watobe email address. Okay. If you come across questions that you don't understand or want someone to do together with you, then email them to me. Take a picture and email it to me. All right. And then I can do them in a lesson with you. All right. And that's open to everybody. All right. So no problem. It's just don't send it to me like 2 seconds before the lesson starts, because then I'm not going to look. But, if you can send it to me sort of like, yeah, with pleasure. Send me the questions and then I'll try and incorporate everything that you guys send me into a lesson, and then we can help everyone. Okay, so it's not a problem. All right. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about this question over here. All right, so 2 times 1 is the only way that we can get 2. So again, Karabo, you've got to do this 2x, 1x thing. Now you've got to think about the number 3. Yes, Christian, I am going to do a lesson on functions. Okay, so yes, I will incorporate that before you write exams.
Yeah.
So Ayanda says 2x minus 1, and also simplifying. 2x minus 1, x plus 3. Okay, so in this case over here, if I put the 3 here and I put the 1 there, that will give me the 1x, that will give me the 6x, but I want negative 5. So that means I have to start at minus 6 and all of them, Sihle, and plus 1. Okay, so let's just check. Let's just see if we're right. Okay, so that has to be a plus, and that one has to be a minus. Yes. So whose answer was that? Hang on a second. Not that I'm trying to embarrass anybody. Let's just go back. Where were we? Okay, so Ayanda, you said, no, it wasn't you, Ayanda. Ayanda, you said, okay, that was the next one. Okay, C for 2.2, you said 2x plus 1x minus 3. Sorry, I copied it down incorrectly. Quite right. Okay, I agree with you guys. Right, so this would have been 2x plus 1x minus 3 in this case. Okay, 100%. I tell you what, Karabo, I want you to try one of these other ones on your own, okay? So I tell you what, try number 5 on your own and see how it goes, all right? And then we're going to talk about the answer now. See, Claire, have you done all of them? Oh, wow. That's really good. Well done. So these make lots of sense to you then. That's good. That's good, Sihle, because this is something that you're going to come across a lot in maths. So if you can do this, then certainly. Okay, we've got 15 minutes to go. I'm just wondering how I'm going to put, what do we do at number 6? Good question, Harry. Good question. All right, so let's do that one together. So 3x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, so Harry, 3x and 1x to get 3. And to get 2, our options are only 2 and 1. Okay, so if we put 2 here and we put 1 here, this way, is that going to work though? Because that way you're going to get 6, this way you're going to get 1. So no, that's not going to work. Let's swap them around. So let's put 2 at the top. And let's put 1 down at the bottom. Okay, so this way, Harry, we end up with 3x over here. We end up with 2x over there. We want minus 1x, right? So that means we have to start at minus 3 and plus 2 to get a negative overall. So that would have to be a plus, that would have to be a minus. Okay, so Lizzie, we'll talk about your answer now. Sihle, 3x plus 2, x minus 1. Yes, Sihle, that's right. Okay, so 3x plus 2. Does that make sense, Harry? X minus 1. Okay, Lizzie, you were talking about number 11. Let's go and have a look at number 11. Let's clear some space here for ourselves. Okay, so okay, there we go. Lizzie, you said in number 11, 3x squared minus 7x plus 2. What did you say the answer was, Lizzie? X minus, so Lizzie says the answer was 3x minus 1, x minus 2. Yes, perfect. 100%, Lizzie, good job. Okay, well done. That's quite right. Harry, you said, so we always have to say 3. Yes, you would. Okay, because 3, the only way you can get 3, Harry, is by saying 3 times 1. All right. Ayanda, lovely. Okay, cool. You guys are offering answers here, which is so superb. Okay, Ayanda says for number 6, Ayanda says 3x minus 2.
Oh, no, Mama, correct. Yeah, Sita was correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, oh, no, that's not gonna work. Sihle was correct with that one. Okay, never mind. That's fine. All right, let's see. So Sihle says for number 4, 2x plus 3, x minus 1. Who agrees with Sihle for number 2.4? Who's tried 2.4 and got the same answer as Sihle? Okay, so Sihle says for number 4, 2x plus 3. And here That would have to be x minus 1. Let's just check here, Claire. 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x. Perfect, Claire. That one's correct. Okay, 2.11. Claire, you've said that that's going to be, shame, there's so many answers here. Let me go and have a look. So 3x minus 1, x minus 2, 3x squared. Yep, that's right, Claire. So those are correct. Harry, do we always have to use 1 below as our number? No, Harry, we don't. All right. And unfortunately, what we've kind of run out of time for now, although I can go and get some more questions, is I've just looked at the trinomials now that where the number in front of the x squared is a prime number. So by that, Harry, I mean it's 2 or 3 or 5 or 7. So you can only make those numbers saying like 3 times 1 and 2 times 1. But I mean, what happens if they gave you a trinomial and there was a 4 in front of the x squared? So you could make 4 by saying 4 times 1, or you could make 4 by saying 2 times 2. So when your number in front of your x squared is a composite number, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. Okay, oh yeah, got it. Good, Ayanda. Harry, my question makes sense. Yes, it does. I can do another example. Okay, thanks, Cecile. 2.5, you've said 2x minus 1x plus 3. So it'd be plus 6 minus 1, which is plus 5 minus 3, which is correct. Karabo. You've said, I just want to concentrate on what you've said here, Karabo. Wow, you guys are amazing. You've tried so hard with this. That's really brilliant. That's why you are the most awesome grade to teach ever, 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 ever. Okay, so in number 5, Karabo, you've said 2x plus 1, x minus 3. Okay, so Karabo, that'll give you 2x squared. But now look here, you're going to have a problem with your sign, Karabo, because when you multiply 2x and minus 6 together and minus 3 together, you're going to get minus 6x plus 1x is going to give you minus 5x in the middle. Okay, so unfortunately, your sign is wrong here. Okay, so with this one, Karabo, what needed to happen here to fix it, okay, is you needed this, all right? You want plus 5 in the middle. So 2x times positive 3 will give you positive 6. Take away 1x will leave you with positive 5x. Negative 1 times positive 3 will leave you with negative 3 at the end. Okay, let me just see. Okay, so Cecily has given us, oh, wow. Cecily has given us all of those answers. Well done. Thank you, Cecily. Ma'am, on the first one, Nizoli, just hold on, Nizoli. I'm just trying to make sense of what you're asking me here. On the first trinomials, we said the factors must multiply. Yes, you see now, this has changed a little bit because in front of the x squared, it's not a 1 anymore. Okay, so it's a little bit more complicated than that. That's why we've got to do this cross-multiplying method. Thanks, Cecily. You were so close, Karabo. Well done, Cecily. You've done a really, really good job. Okay, so now at least I managed to have a look at all of your messages. All right, so I know Cecily has put them in the chat, but just try not to peep. Okay, let's just try a couple more before we unfortunately have to say goodbye to one another. Thank you, Cecily. You've done such a good job. Okay, so Karabo, what about number 8? What do you think we should write here? Okay, so again, Harry, we've got the 3 and the 1. Okay, at the end, we want to make 2. Okay, so we can make 2 by multiplying 2 and 1 together. Oh, no. That's very sweet of you, but no, Claire, you came to this lesson knowing how to do this already. I can't take any credit for that. It's all you. Okay. All right, so Karabo, if I put the 2 down here and I put the 1 up there, I can get 6 this way and I can get 1 that way. All right, I can make 5 from 6 and 1. But it's more complicated than that. I've got to have a plus in the middle. So if I want plus 5x in the middle, it means it has to be plus 6, and then it has to be minus 1, like so. Oh, well, I'm so glad that last week's lesson helped so much. We'll talk some more about these complex jobs and how we do it. Okay, it's a pleasure, Claire. Okay, so the sign then goes into the bracket. So now we've got 3x minus 1. And then over here, we've got x plus 2, like so. All right, so before we just finish off all of them, I realize Claire is feeling pretty good. How's everybody else feeling compared to when you started the lesson? Does this make a little bit more sense now? Do you understand what we're trying to do? Is there anybody who's still feeling confused? Makes more sense. Thanks, Ayanda. Cool, Harry. Although I think you were all right with these as well. Hey, Harry. This wasn't something you were struggling with. You understand? All good, just need more practice. Brilliant. Okay, so Lesejo, I've got the solution to that. If you go onto the app, you will be able to practice this. Okay, still a bit shaky. Maya, that's fine. Okay, so what you guys need to do is you need to go. It's still confusing a bit. I understand you, Musa. This is not easy in the beginning. Okay, but the more you practice it, I promise you it will get better. So if you go and have a look on the app, if you go to a part where it says algebraic fractions, so it looks like this. Yes, go and have a look, Christian. So algebraic fractions, listen to me. Algebraic expressions, okay? Then when you go in there, you need to look for factorizing. And then you need to go and look for trinomials. Okay, and then what you will find is that there are videos that you can watch where someone like me explains how it's done. And then there is like a worksheet afterwards where you can go and practice. Okay, so go and use the app. Because that will really help you. And then you'll also see oh, shame, Sihle. Yeah, well, no, with exponents, it's a different. Yeah, go for it, Christian. Go and practice. It'll make all the difference in the world. Okay. Ma'am, doesn't the 2 numbers in the bracket equal the middle number of the trinomial? Well, how do you mean, Karabo? Do you mean, can you unmute your mic and just explain to me exactly what you're asking? Because I'm afraid I don't understand, Karabo. Which 2 numbers inside the bracket?
Ma'am, I'm saying like I get it in the middle.
Yes, the middle term.
Yeah, at first when you started, if you can look at like the first one we started with, it was 8 and 10, right? And then like
yes.
it was equal. It was 8 and 2. No, ma'am, my bad. It was 8 and 2, and then it was equal the middle number because the middle number was 2.
That's right. That's right.
So
Now,
how come on this other complex ones, the middle number The numbers in the brackets don't equal the middle number.
Okay, Karabo, I understand what you're saying perfectly. It's all got to do, Karabo, with this. Okay, so when they get you to factorize, let me just find one. When they get you to factorize trinomials that look like these ones over here, in front of the b squared, the x squared, the z squared, there is an invisible 1. That's why when we thought of the two numbers and we multiplied them together, they would give us the middle term, okay? Because it's 1z squared, 1x squared, 1b squared. But with these complex ones that we've been doing now, it's a little bit more difficult than that because we're not trying to create 1 in the front anymore. We're now trying to create another number like 2 or 3 or whatever the case is. So that's what makes it a bit harder to figure out, first of all, what factors you're using. So what you've got to do is you've got to make sure, just one last time, I know time's up, but let me just say it one last time. Karabo, let's have a look at number 10, okay? We've got 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. We still need to think about which two numbers we need to multiply together to get 3. We still need to think about which two numbers we multiply together to get 2. That's our starting point, okay? So put the 3x here, the 1x below it. And these are your options, Karabo. Either you put 1 here and 2 there, or you switch them around and you put 2 at the top and you put 1 down at the bottom, okay? The more you practice, the easier this will become, all right? So now here, if I put the 2 down over here, that will give me 6x. If I do that, that will leave me with 1x. Now I want minus 5. So if I want minus 5 in the middle and plus 2 over there, both of these would have to be negatives, okay? Because that's the only way I can get a negative middle term and a positive last term. But if I had both negatives here, I wouldn't have minus 5 in the middle, I would have minus 7. Okay, so the problem here is that the numbers are not going to work. And this is the tricky part. This is really what makes it so challenging, okay? So here, this first one is not going to work. It's not going to work because we would end up with 6x and 1x. We want minus 5. The only way we can get minus 5 is from minus 6 and plus 1. But if we were to use 3x minus 1 and x minus 2, we would end up with the incorrect middle term. The first term would be right. The 3x squared would be correct. The plus 2 at the end would be correct, but this middle term would be wrong. Okay, so that's why you've always got to go back and go and check. So in this situation over here, what we would have to do, right, that option doesn't work. So now, as I had said to you, we're going to switch the 1 and the 2 around. Let's see what happens now, okay? So that gives us 3x. That gives us 2x. Negative middle term, positive last term, both numbers have to be negative, and indeed they would be to get that minus 5x in the middle. So here it has to be 3x, sorry, and then that would go there, and that would go there. 3x minus 2, x minus 1, and then we would get the correct middle term. So 3x squared, correct first term, correct last term, negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 2, and then our middle terms, minus 3x minus 2x gives us that minus 5x in the middle. Okay, but yeah, go and watch those videos and go and practice on the Watobe app. Okay, Karabo. Sorry, I've gone 3 minutes over. I beg your pardon. Let me hand you back to, it might be Tula or Coco that may be with us now. Do you have your hand up, Megan? No, it's okay. All right. All right. Well, anyway, I've gone, I answered your question. Oh, okay. All right. That's brilliant. All right. Well, unfortunately, I've gone a little bit over, so we are going to have to say goodbye now. All right. On Thursday, we will try and do something on patterns, and then I will also try and do something on functions with you. Okay, so send me through any questions that you've got, and yes, I'll try and fit them into the lesson. All right, have a lovely week, everybody. Thanks for everything. Bye, everyone. Okay, Namusa, go onto the Watobe app, and you'll see that there is practice there for you for paper one stuff. Okay, so go and have a look. There will be past question papers, and then there will also be little quizzes that you can go and practice. Okay, look on the app. There's lots of stuff. It's a pleasure, Sihle, anytime. Okay, good luck if you're writing tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye.